Welcome back to Ford Unfiltered. I'm Donna Y. Ford, and we are about to have another unapologetic presentation. This time, today, I'm talking about 10 signs that your school's gifted and talented, which again I call GATE, identification system, is inequitable. But before I do that, I need to remind you that Black students are underrepresented and have been forever by at least 55%, sometimes higher. Latinx students usually underrepresented by around 45%. So the most underrepresented populations, and I am here to advocate for them, and so should you, without apology, without fear, without compromise. All right? So today I want to talk about 10 signs that your school's GATE identification system is inequitable. These are not warning signs. They're diagnoses, and most of them are in your school. I promise you right now. So why this matters, we are promoting not just underrepresentation, but underachievement when our damn children are not identified as gifted and talented, and they surely are. No racial and ethnic group has a monopoly on gifted and talent, on gifts and talent, I should say. And we also need to look at this by economics. So 10 signs, and let me try to do this quickly. One sign is your gifted and talent program doesn't mirror closely to the population of your students, which I just stressed with those numbers and percentages. All right, so the issue is not damn ability, and it never has been, and it never should be. This is about the decisions that schools make. So what you need to do, you need to calculate your equity, and that is using my Ford equity formula that was used in a court case called McFadden versus Illinois School District U46. All right, so I've published it in several places, but look at my 2013 book, okay? But the formula says if, for example, Hispanic students or Latinx students are 40% of your district, 40% times 0.8 equals 32. And in that court case, it was within 5 years, the students, Latinx students, had to increase to a minimum of 32%. This is not a racial quota, so don't damn say this. It's not a racial quota, all right? Black students, let's say they are 60% of your school building. 60 times 0.8 is 48. At minimum, they should be 48% of your GATE program. And that, when I'm saying GATE, I also want to say this means AP, and it means IB. Those are not designed for GATE students. Let me remind you of that. But that's who tends to end up in AP and IB. 2, teacher referral, and I'm including counselors and administrators, is the primary, sometimes the only reason that the door to your GATE program is locked, literally and figuratively. The door is locked because the teachers are not referring them, even when they have the same characteristics like grades, test scores, all right, as their white peers. Teachers still do not refer them, even if their family has the same educational level and economic level as white populations. We're still under-referred. Almost every study, and I believe every study has found that teachers under-refer Black students, and about half show that they under-refer Latinx students. That half still matters, all right? Third, students must be nominated before they're tested. So this means that the nomination system must be interrogated, and that policy issue needs to change. Instead of relying on nomination, we need to go with universal screening. Universal screening means that all students will be evaluated, okay? And 4, they must be evaluated Oh, let me back up. I just thought about this. Let the data, not the perception, open the gated door. 4, a single test score often determines who gets identified as gifted and talented, eligibility. And would you ever go to a damn doctor and let them look at one test and make a decision, all right, about your health, make a diagnosis, make a prescription? If you do, I think something's wrong. So we damn sure shouldn't be doing that with our children. We need to be doing assessment, not testing, especially since these tests are biased. And look at what APA said in 2021, admitting test bias, all right? Adopt multiple measures: academic achievement, creativity measures, problem solving, all right, family observations, and more. No single number should decide a child's future. 5, identification happens once, usually early, and that's a problem because the doors close. The doors close. We need to have ongoing assessment and evaluation, okay? Ongoing. So build multiple entry points across grade levels. Gifted and talented identification should be an ongoing progress, not a one-time event with a locked door afterward. 6, please work with our families. Black and Latinx families often don't know that the GATE programs even exist or even how it works. 1, because we've been closed out. The gate has been locked for us. The doors have been locked. 2, it is because educators don't inform them, about the existence of these programs. Okay, so we need to communicate with our Black and Latinx families about these opportunities. That includes working with community organizations, churches, going to neighborhood events. Don't be a drive-by educator. Go to these events. Immerse yourself in our communities. Go to the families. Do not wait for them to come and find you. 7, your assessments have never been reviewed for cultural or linguistic biases. Again, I just can't say enough about test bias. So that means that these measures are not culture free. They're biased in favor of higher income white populations. They were designed without culture in mind, all right? Without culture in mind. So what you need to do is audit your instruments. Ask, who was the test designed for? Who was it normed on? What does it measure? How does it measure it or miss it? Okay? Supplement and replace these instruments, in particular with nonverbal measures. And I'm a huge fan, huge advocate for Jack Naglieri's nonverbal abilities tests. And on those measures by Naglieri, Black, Brown, Latinx students get approximately the same IQ score. So when you say, you have to be 2 standard deviations above the mean, I always say, who's damn mean and on what measure? 8, you compare all students, this is the problem, to national norms. Stop it. It's not objective. What you need to do is use local and building, I emphasize even building norms. I want to know who in your building are the most advanced. I don't give a damn about that building over there and that district over there. I'm talking about in your building. That's who you need to be focusing on. Your children, your students, okay? 9, we need to focus on discipline. Our Black, especially boys, and Latinx, especially boys, our Black girls, of all the girls, are the most disciplined or misdisciplined. When you're suspended, your education stops. Your instructional time stops. So a student who is disproportionately disciplined is not likely, unlikely, to be seen by their teachers as gifted and talented, which again disrupts not just learning, but it disrupts being identified as gifted and talented. Last, your school rarely or never reviews GATE program demographics. Review them. I mean, that's in the other 10 messages as well, right? Review them. Review them by race, ethnicity, gender, language status, social economic status, at least annually. Publish the data. Set equitable goals using a formula. Be accountable. Equity requires measurement, and measurement requires the courage to look at what the numbers say and then do something about it. So if you recognize your school here, don't be defensive. But if you are defensive, maybe that's an indictment of yourself too. It's an invitation for you to change your structures as well as your views about marginalized populations. Calculate that equity index right now. Set those goals. Make the changes. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible damn thing to erase. Donna Y. Ford. I'll see you next time.